get the user interface right and whatnot. So how would you classify the state of booking today? Not worrying about tomorrow yet, but just for today.
Chaos. Because what's happening is, the airlines are pushing their agenda, NDC, new distribution capability. Clients want that direct connect so they can get the value out of it because the airlines can make special deals. So it's up to booking tools to provide a conduit for that, for the TMCs, so that everybody wins. The airlines can retail their products instead of lowest price. And then the user gets a benefit because they're going to get special deals and favors and waivers. So NDC's coming, it's here. We were just at IATA 3 weeks ago, and they're now in implementation phase. And when our senior developer got done speaking, 3 airlines came up and said, we'll give you access tomorrow. So yeah, we'll write that tomorrow.
So then when it comes to book, I mean, you jumped right to the content availability, right? So are we supposed to be focused more on the content that's feeding the booking tool? What about the user experience and how they do that? Because again, you jumped right to content. Is that where you're focused? Is it that's where we need to be looking? But what about the user?
Well, the technology has to make it easy for the user. So our job is to make sure that when someone's booking on their phone or tablet or whatever it is, we simplify the complexity of the content. Because if the user doesn't have a good experience and can't do everything in one place, you're history, right? So you gotta make sure that you make this complex content from different places easy to use, easy to manage, easy to change. Because millennials, God bless them, I have 2, so they're like little pets. Sorry, Ryan. They don't want to mess around with 50 apps. They want it to be easy, no matter how complex it is in the background. Right?
Okay, so so let's segment this for a second then. The travel buyers need to be focused on both, right? They need to be focused on that user experience and giving their travelers the right app or the right way to go book, right? And then they're also worried about, okay, what content is going to be in whatever that method is, right, that I'm going to be giving to my travelers. So do the buyers need to then, let's talk about the content side for a second. Do the buyers need to be then talking to their TMCs, their booking tool provider, their airlines, their hotels, whomever, to say, how are you going to give me your content? Because all of a sudden now, the buyer's like running a grocery store, right? And they're trying to fill up the shelves with all this different content, right? So how does a buyer make sense of all this?
Well, I think buyers have to rely on their TMCs. Because they're the experts, right? So if they know it exists, they're going to drive change. If they know they can make a deal with Air Canada to get flight passes, free boarding or priority boarding, then they're going to go to the TMC and say, I want this, and then the TMC makes it happen. Now, if you're big enough, sometimes they go right to the GDS or they go right to the airline, right? But if you don't know it's there, how do you know you can change? So it's coming to these kind of sessions and learning about the future and really knowing what's available. Because it's not going to be good to do it the old way anymore, right?
Sorry.
To do it the old way.
Okay.
This is how we've always done it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so exciting. Like, no, this is how we're going to do it, right? And technology can do that now where it couldn't before.
Okay, so then let's focus back then on the traveler experience side, the booking side. What should the buyers be looking at then when it comes to this experience for the traveler and the booking aspect?
Ease of use, right? You should be able to book on your phone, change your reservation on your phone, cancel it on your phone, or your hotel, or your rent-a-car, all in one app, right? You don't want to go to this website, that website. You want it easy to use, streamlined. And then as a buyer, if you've decided you want Air Canada Corporate Rewards, then that's a channel you turn on, right? So you can turn on and off the different distribution channels for whatever your needs are. But it gives you greater flexibility. You can make deals you couldn't before, and your TMC can negotiate that for you. So it's kind of a win for everybody. Everyone's going to get better content, better availability, and more ease of use.
And then should the travel buyer, should they be an IT expert? Should they be a user interface expert? Should they be a content expert? What should they be?
They should listen. So if your UI sucks, they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
Right?
So
if it's too
engaged with your travelers,
be
right?
engaged with your travelers, listen to what they say, make adjustments, you know, and then get the advice of other people as well, right? But if your user doesn't like an app, they're going to tell you in 2 seconds. Everybody knows what they hate when they see it, but they don't know what they want, right? So a buyer needs to listen to their travelers, make sure that they're getting the best deal for their company, right? So when the buyers talk to the airlines or the TMCs, and they say, I want this and this and this, it doesn't hurt to ask, right? So they just need to listen to their travelers and then talk to the providers, whether it's a hotel, a rent-a-car, or an airline, and say, I want this. Because now this can be delivered. Whereas before it couldn't. Traditional booking channels can't deliver some of the advanced stuff that Direct Connects can.
And when it comes back to the content, sorry to keep jumping back and forth, but as I hear you talk, my head is jumping back and forth too. Then when it comes to that content and being able to source that and being able to then integrate that into the proper tool, I guess that's where the technology comes into play, right? And being able to do that. Now I know that at some point when we were talking about NDC, people thought, well, that's a tool in and of itself. But it's really a set of standards, right, that allow certain content to flow much differently, right? So it's not a tool, right, but it's content.
It's a spec. It's a set of messages that they've defined that can give you greater flexibility in your booking. So as they define the spec, we as technology providers write to the spec. And what's nice about it is it makes it kind of consistent. So if you're writing an interface to BA or Air Canada or WestJet, it's going to be similar. And so it's not like you're reinventing the wheel every time you write an interface. It's a set of standards that we now get to write to, which makes it easier for us to develop the technology.
Okay, and then, so now let's take a look at some of the other things we've heard about at this conference. Blockchain, artificial intelligence. When we say blockchain, a lot of folks think of payment, right? And they think of Bitcoin and we've lost them, right? They've tuned out. They're like, why would I ever use Bitcoin, right? But blockchain, talk about blockchain from a distribution and a content perspective and what that can do and why we need to be paying attention to that.
So blockchain, and I'm not going to get too technical because I actually don't know how to talk about it, but I think it's going to solve a number of problems. So if we had a travel blockchain and a universal traveler profile, right, secure, encrypted, but then I don't have to go to United to enter my crap or Delta or whatever, or this hotel or that hotel.
I've got like 20 profiles with 20 different passwords.
Yes,
I always forget.
Exactly right. You're not going to lock yourself out anymore.
Right.
So if we had a universal travel profile, then we don't have to do all those sites. It's there. And unused tickets could be there, right? So let's solve the easy problems first, the pain in the butt problems, and then we'll look at what it's going to do to distribution. But just solving those problems first, I think, is the first step.
Okay, so then in closing, nuggets to the buyer, the sparks for the buyer would be, let's tackle what's right in front of us in some of these initial pain points, right? Let's look at some of these things, whether it's regards to profile, whether it's regards to the apps we're already giving to our travelers, right? Yes, we need to keep the eye on all this other stuff and whatnot, but what would be the advice for right here, right now?
I think you should expect your technology to deliver what you want, right? Whatever that is, whether it's direct connects, universal profiles, technology can do it now, whereas before it couldn't. And there's a lot more avenues to get content that weren't there. And they're coming. You either get on that bus or you're going to be run over by it.
Is it going to be an autonomous bus?
It's an autonomous bus. So, and it flew in.
It's a nice way to pull it all together, right? All right, well, thanks for that quick insight. I know it was very quick, but we wanted to just get some of the issues and the excitement as far as book and what we need to focus on. So thank you for your insights. Appreciate it.